I am a knitter. I am a beginning sewer. I like to buy yarn, apparently. And I wanted to be part of the podcasting community. So I decided that I'm going to try this. And I hope you'll take this journey with me. I own a small business called GemmaDarlingDesigns, and I make jewelry. It started out with jewelry, semi-precious jewelry with beautiful stones and beads. And I started making high-end wedding invitations after I apprenticed with this wonderful, wonderful woman. And so that's my little business, and I decided that I think a podcast would be fun. You know, sometimes we'll cook, sometimes we'll talk about knitting, sometimes we'll see how horrible of a sewer I am. And hopefully you'll give me some feedback so that I can try some new things with you as well. So today is the first podcast. Don't expect anything good. I've never spoken to a computer before, so it's a little weird for me, but I come from a long line of crafty ladies. My grandma, who I call Mima, she was a Russian immigrant. She came here when she was 3, and she lived in New York City for a really long time. And so she used to make gorgeous, gorgeous clothes for my mom, who, my mom was a child of the 60s, and so she has all these pictures of her hair in these huge bouffants and these gorgeous, gorgeous dresses that my grandmother would make her to go to all of these, I guess they were just dances, proms dances, things, people dressed up in the 60s. It was gorgeous, and I want to be able to make those things. I just became a mom. I have a beautiful, beautiful 5-year-old daughter named Francesca, and I want her to have things that were made for her. And so, a couple years ago, my mom, she was a kindergarten teacher in Newark for 38 years. She's wonderful. She's super intelligent, and she's wonderful with children, and she really was an incredible teacher. And it was really sad when she retired, because I think a lot of the parents knew that their children weren't going to have her as a teacher, and they were upset about it. So, but she made the most out of it. She really is enjoying retirement, and I'm watching her try all these new things, and I love that. So years and years ago, Mima taught me how to knit, but she was a lefty that was forced to be righty, because when she was a child, being a lefty was a bad thing. So they would try to get her to write with her right hand and do all these things with her right hand, and it wasn't natural for her. So when she taught me how to knit, it was all backwards. And so I never really made anything, because it never became second hand to me. It was just never natural in my hands. And so once in a while I would pick up my needles and stitch a bit while I was watching TV, but I never made anything. I made some scarves, but who hasn't made a scarf if you knit, right? So about 3 or 4 years ago, my mom decided that she wanted to learn how to knit, and she is an incredibly patient person, and she, picked up the needles, bought some yarn, and she would watch YouTube videos, and she learned how to knit. And so she became not part of the knitting community, but she would follow it. And so, she would say things to me like, I really wish you would watch YouTube and, knit with me, and you should watch Voolenvine's podcast, and, I think it's called Very Pink Knits, something like that. And I was just like, who is Voolenvine, Mom? Stop talking to me about this. I don't want to do it. And I defied it for a long time. And I wish I hadn't. I wish I had done it earlier, because these people are amazing. The things that they make, that they want to share with us, it's incredible. And so, I don't know how long ago it was, probably about 6 months ago, I was 8 months pregnant. I was humongous. My pregnancy really took a toll on my body, but it's all worth it. My daughter's gorgeous. And, so Voolenvine was having a trunk show at Do You Knit in Westfield, New Jersey. And we don't live far, so my mom was like, if you feel okay, I'd really like to go to this, and I would like you to come with me. And I said, sure. So I said, it depends Because, when you're pregnant, you wake up some days and you feel awful. You wake up some days and you feel like you could conquer the world. So luckily I woke up that day and I felt really good. So we went, and it was so much fun. First of all, Do You Knit is probably the best yarn store on the face of the planet. It's not huge, but the exquisite yarns that she imports from all over the world, I mean, she has a wall of hedgehog fibers. This is my collection. I didn't get it all from her, but let me tell you, Karen Posniak, who owns that store, is a hedgehogaholic, and she will make you one if you walk into her store. So she literally shows you, look at this, look at this. Like, she loves what she does, and she's there to help you, and she's kind, and you'll become friends with her on social media, and she just pulls you into this community. And I think part of why I bought so much hedgehog that day, and why, of course, you couldn't get your hands on the Woolen Vine. It was gone by the time we got there. But I bought hedgehog, and I still haven't knitted with it because it's so special that you literally have to let the yarn tell you what it wants to be. So, you go on Ravelry and you look at all the things in your library and all of these patterns that you've wanted to try, and you say, no, not special enough for my hedgehog. Nope. And I know I can always buy more. I don't know why, but when I choose to do a project with hedgehog, the project and the hedgehog themselves have chosen each other. So it's special. It's just really special. So anyway, we went to this trunk show, and of course, as I said, the Woolen Vine yarn was gone when we got there. Kristen is an incredible yarn dyer. She's an even more incredible person. She really is. Her podcast is so inspirational. I mean, this girl can probably do anything with her hands that she wants to. Literally. She picked up sewing like that. She's making dresses. I think she made a bra a couple weeks ago. She's such a sweet, sweet girl that if you don't watch her, do yourself a favor. But don't hold your breath on getting her yarn because, she just fixed it so that you won't get cart jacked, but I don't know. Tonight I'm going to try again and we'll see. I should make my username Woolen Virgin because I just can't get my hands on her yarn. And, it's okay because it's going to make it all the more special when I do. My mom, actually, one of her first projects was in Woolen Vine yarn. So I didn't think it was that hard to get, but it's okay. It's okay. It's special. So once I get it, it's going to be fun. So let's do a knitting podcast today. Gemma Darling Designs is really, it's a paper art company, and I make, as I said, handmade beaded jewelry with semi-precious stones and metals. You can find that on my Etsy store, GemmaDarling.etsy.com. And it hasn't been updated in a while because, again, I'm a new mom. My mom decided that Fridays were Mima Day, which I had Mima Day when I was little. Every Thursday was Mima Day, and she taught me how to sew. I used to make my own Halloween bags, and my grandfather used to work in the embroidery district in Jersey City, and so he would bring home these bolts of yarn, and so we had gorgeous, gorgeous velvets just sitting on a couch in her basement. And so she'd go, let's go shopping. And we'd go downstairs into the basement, and she'd cut me a swatch of what I wanted. And, she taught me how to sew by hand. And it was nothing special, but it held it together. And so I would make my own Halloween bags once in a while. And I wish I still had some of those. She made us the most incredible Halloween costumes I can't even tell you. My sister was Minnie Mouse one year, and she made her like a whole hood with the widow's peak and the ears on it, and I really wish we still had a lot of this stuff. So I want to learn how to sew because I want my kid to have handmade things. I want her to have needle points that I made, and I want her to have, sweaters that we made. And my mom, when I told her I was pregnant, she was like, literally, she reacted like this. She went like that, and I said, and I found out I was pregnant at 2 weeks pregnant. So it was really early, and we had to keep it quiet for a long time. And she made Francesca the most beautiful sweaters. For some reason, I was really into strawberries, and she made her this little strawberry hat that we took her home from the hospital in, and, a sweater to match and a blanket to match. And she made her these little baby vertebrae, which are sweaters that are open in the front, like cardigans, so that when you hold the baby, they're right on your chest, and they're They're incredible, and I'll never get rid of them. So what should we do first? Let's make this a knitting podcast, because even though I'm not some superb knitter, I don't have anything really incredible to show you. I think we're all in the same boat when it comes to that. You know, we watch a lot of these podcasters, and I mean, I can't knit lace like other people can. I can't sit there and look at a pattern and, you know, or make a gorgeous sweater like Sue and Chelsea of Legacy Knits podcast. I mean, those two are machines. The things that they turn out, it's incredible. I mean, I think Sue literally could sit down and make a pair of socks, like, in like a day. I mean, maybe I'm being generous, but seriously, I mean, and the things they show you on that podcast, and they make sweaters like it's nothing. And then Chelsea just picked up the needles and decided to be a knitter, and she's making these gorgeous things with all these, like, she mixes colorways like no one I've ever seen. And so I'm not like that. I want to get there. And so with your help, you know, I think having an audience, if I'm ever lucky enough to have one, is going to make me keep doing things. I'm someone who starts a lot of things and doesn't finish them. And, you know, when you become a mom, you kind of look at yourself and decide what about yourself you want to teach your daughter. You know, I want her to be creative. I want her to, you know, thirst for knowledge. I want her to be a feminist, and I want her to just, you know, I want her to want to do what she wants to do in life and really decide on it and, you know, take it by storm. But I don't want her to be like me in certain ways because, you know, I don't have a very long attention span. And so, you know, I'll start a project and then it sits there, and then I'll start another project. I get excited about things and I start them, but I really want to become a finisher. And so I think that if I am ever lucky enough to have a community that watches me and joins in, you'll push me to finish things. And I think that's really important. You know, one of the reasons I chose my husband, well, chose each other, but one of the reasons I chose him is he's incredibly intelligent and he does stuff from start to finish. His memory is incredible, and I hope that she's like that with a touch of me, you know, maybe my hair, and I'll teach her how to do makeup, but then I hope she becomes a doctor. So she can be anything she wants. I don't care, as long as she's happy. But so let's start. I do have some really cool things to show you. If you're not someone who thirsts after yarn, and you don't buy it that often, it's probably all the more special when you do buy something expensive, because these yarns have become expensive. I mean, you can always go to Joann Fabrics and get gorgeous, gorgeous yarns. You can. And, you know, maybe that's the way that you want to knit. And for me, it's about the colors. I look at this pile of hedgehog. There's the rest of it. And it's not even like the fact that it's yarn that made me want to buy it. I mean, I look at these, like, it's gorgeous. Like, look at this. It's just gorgeous. I can't even tell you. I love it. I love it. I mean, look at this one. This one, oh my God, I don't even know if it's picking it up. The sun is so bad in here right now, but look at this. I mean, Oracle has to be my favorite. Haven't knitted with it yet, but I can't wait. And this one, oh, look at that. Film Noir. This is the one I bought when I went to the trunk show at Do You Knit, which is really funny because in college I was a film production major, and I remember they made us watch so many film noirs that at the end of college I thought I could have just gotten a PhD in it because I knew so much about film noir. And when I went to Do You Knit, I pulled this off the shelf, and when I read that the colorway was called film noir, I knew it was fate. It was fate. Totes. It's fate. Yep, I said totes. I curse, I say totes, and if you don't like it, well, you can comment below, but I'm pretty sure my mom will have something to say about it, so don't worry about it. So, okay, let's begin. I have so much yarn around me right now, it's insane. I think my husband thinks I'm crazy. But you know what? He always needs the new iPhone. I don't do that. I take his hand-me-downs. So if I want yarn, I buy yarn. Okay, so let's look at some whips. Let's see. This is a whip that I started right when my daughter was born, because for some reason I was an idiot and thought that I was going to have time to knit when I had a newborn. Yeah. I mean, granted, she slept a lot. She's a good sleeper, and that is something she gets from me. But, no. So, I've been working on these for a while. Now, this is, I forget what the pattern name is called. I'll put it on the screen. These are leg warmers, because I figured I don't know how to turn a heel. I can't make a sock. But I can make a leg warmer. So, let's see. They still have all the strings hanging out of them because I haven't done that yet. And this is a pattern by Tiny Owl Knits. And as you can see, it really is just a beautiful pattern. This is not really coming out well. The light is very bad in here. I'm very sorry. I'm sure it'll get better as I podcast. Can't see it? Oh, there we go. Okay. So it's a really, really gorgeous pattern. And of course, me being the new knitter that I am, I had to modify the pattern. Instead of casting on the stitches that they told me, I increased it by 12. Don't ask me why. I thought it wouldn't fit me. I'm not a big person. I don't have big calves. But I did recently give birth, so I was kind of a behemoth because I had retained so much water weight. It was disgusting. But, again, fully worth it. So I made them so they were big enough in case I never lost that weight and just, you never know. So you don't want to work on something and then it doesn't fit. Anyway, I mean, look at this. Look at the stitches. Can't see it. Okay, how about that? It's incredible. It's a really simple 6-stitch repeat that I think a new knitter would probably be really great at. If the first time you're actually following a pattern, I can't remember if I paid for it, if it was free, so I'm not going to share the pattern. But if you follow me on Ravelry, my name is GemmaDarling, GemmaDarling, GemmaDarling. It should be there in my library, showing it as a work in progress. And this is the second one. So I haven't really gotten that far on it, because I think after a while the pattern became a little monotonous, and I should be able to do without thinking, but when you've got a kid, she's a wonderful kid. She only cries when something's wrong, but, you got to keep your eye on her at all times, and she just started rolling over, so, I know. At least I can start buy her shoes soon when she starts walking. But what I do is, because I'm someone who gets distracted easily, if you can see, these are 12-inch circulars. I put a stitch marker every 6 stitches so that when I'm going through it, I can see if I missed a yarn over or something. Because again, I'm new at this. So I can't just look at a pattern and see that I missed something. But if I'm looking at this and when I'm going through it, doing the rows that are just knit, and I say, oh, I missed something, I can tink back and, it won't be that far along. So that's what I do. These are a godsend. These, always put them on the ends of your needles. I watch so many podcasts where they're talking, going, oops, I dropped a stitch. And I'm thinking, why don't you just get these? They're the greatest things. They come right on and off. They protect your needles and nothing falls off them. Anyway, they're just clover. They're not really anything expensive. If you tell me something's good, I will buy it. Chelsea and Sue are responsible for this. A couple episodes back, around episode, I think 18 or 20, they started reviewing the Yarn It. This thing is incredible. It was worth every penny. It twists on and off the top. You put your ball inside. It keeps it wound. It keeps the lint off it. It's excellent. And so I recommend it. I really do. I wish I had more of them. They're a little pricey. I don't know. Maybe, as they catch on, they'll go down in price. I don't really know. But, so that's my leg warmer whip, which, anyone who's seen Flash dance, that sometimes you just want to put on a pair of leg warmers and dance. And so why shouldn't I make them? I do have to make some little ones, though, because everything I make for myself, I need Francesca to have. And, she's going to grow up and she's going to hate me no matter what I do, so I might as well put her in leg warmers and a headband. Anyway, maybe she'll like me. I don't know. We grow up, sometimes we laugh at what our mothers did to us, sometimes we hate it, sometimes we love it. I mean, my mother was wonderful, so I still don't like everything she did to me. I was Miss Piggy for Halloween when I was 4. My grandmother made me the most gorgeous purple dress. It looked like something that would have been on the Muppet Show. She was that good. I mean, it had sequins running down it. She got me a blonde wig. I had gloves to match. And it was a long evening gown, a long purple, shiny evening gown, like silk. And my mother takes a styrofoam cup and puts 2 holes in it and straps it to my face. Now, I don't like my nose to begin with, but I really didn't like my nose when I was 4 years old and I had a styrofoam cup strapped to my face. So, of course, I started screaming and then didn't want to go to school. So, I went to school dressed like Miss Piggy, but not here. Because I would not. Why didn't you just buy me a little prosthetic pig nose? I mean, I probably wouldn't like that either, but at least I would have looked like Miss Piggy. I mean, who puts a styrofoam cup on their kid's face? Like, Mom, hashtag fail. Which is okay because you succeeded at everything else except that, so whatever. I know I'm talking to my mom because I'm pretty sure she's the only one who's going to watch this, so. Okay, should we do whip number 2? Whip number 2 is crocheting, actually, and I learned how to crochet in college because a lot of my friends, I went to Quinnipiac University. It was Quinnipiac College then. It was a small little school. It was wonderful. One of my happy places. And I learned how to crochet because a lot of my friends were occupational therapy majors or physical therapy majors, and they had to learn things like therapeutic massage or, you know, with occupational therapy, they had to learn how to do things that they could teach some of their elderly patients to keep their hands and their mind sharp. And so, you know, we all would know that knitting is really good for your hands and for your mind. So I remember I would do it in class. Still got straight A's, don't worry. Dean's List, everything, you know. I was mass comm, I mean, come on. But my cousin's wife, she's my cousin, let's face it, she's my cousin. I love her. She asked me to make a baby black blanket for her goddaughter. And, you know, at first I got nervous because, again, I'm not someone that finishes something. So I wanted something that would look cute, be warm, be soft, and finish quite, you know, fairly quickly because I knew I didn't want to put it aside in one of my project bags and then just forget about it because she is so wonderful. When I was pregnant, she would bring, if I posted on Facebook, I really wish I had Linzer cookies right now, Linzer tart cookies, she would bring them to me. Like, just be like, okay, are you home? Where else am I? Yes, I'm home. She would bring me tons and tons of cookies. She was always talking to me about pregnancy and making me feel better. And so, you know, this is the least I can do for her. I think that she has, in a lot of ways, enhanced my family. I think that, well, like, okay. My cousins married the most wonderful people. I guess they're my cousin-in-laws, but I mean, they're my cousins. And we are a huge group of fun people. I'm going to have a cousin's Christmas party for the older cousins, because there's so many cousins in my family. And for the older cousins, I'm going to have a party in December, and we'll talk about that next podcast, because that's an interesting feat. You know, planning a party where your house is just going to be overrun. We can talk about that. We'll put some party planning into this podcast. Anyway, back to the blanket. I'm a rambler. So this is the blanket so far. And it's, you know, it's not blocked, so it's all like, ooh, 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 but it's a double crochet, a double crochet, 3 into each link. So it's a granny square. Well, it's a granny rectangle. So, again, Kristen from the Vulenvine, from the Yarngasm podcast, that's what it's called, was, she was taking her scraps and she was knitting one, or crocheting one, and it's gorgeous. I mean, well, anything she touches is gorgeous, but I thought to myself, you know, this is the perfect pattern because I want it to be a blanket, so I wouldn't want it to be a square, but if you can see, like, in the middle where it starts, it's elongated right here. So, as you're making it, you just go round and round, and it's going to make it into a rectangle, you know, once it's blocked out, and, you know, washed in Euclid. But it's such a quick crochet. It's so cute. I mean, and it's warm. And I don't have the tag, and I really wish I did. I think it's like Beehive something from Joann Fabrics. I'll put it in the down bar. And it's this, can you see it? It's like this 2-ply. The wool is actually twisted with 2 colors. I'm pretty sure it's not wool. I think it's just acrylic, but it's so soft. So I hope that the baby likes it. I mean, still got a lot to go, and I got to get back into it, so maybe I'll do some tonight. This is living in one of the best project bags ever. I got this at Do You Knit because I go down there every couple weeks and just like pretty much spend everything I can without my husband noticing. Crafty Bitch. This is by Stitches and Pearls. It's one of the, it's crafted so well. It's really a wonderful, wonderful project bag. And, you know, this is one of their more G-rated ones. They like to use the F word a lot, which, let's face it, I like to use the F word a lot. I mean, it's a noun, it's a verb, it's everything. So that's fine. We'll try to get through this first podcast without using it. But I can't promise anything for the next ones. So this is my Crafty Bitch project bag, and it's, you know, the blanket's going to outgrow it. But for right now, they're happy together, and it fits right in it, and it has a handle, which when you have a kid, you need things with handles. You need crossbody purses, and you need things with handles, because I'm pretty good at holding her in one hand and doing everything else with my other hand, but sometimes I'll walk through the house and I have stuff up my arm because I want to go from the attic to the bedroom to the TV room, and, you know, you only want to take one trip. So that's my baby blanket. These bangs, I need to cut my hair. Yep, I cut my own hair. This is my summer haircut still. I let things kind of grow out in the summer, you know, go to the side. But in the winter, bangs. Zoe Deschanel, Gray Slick, love them. They're my hair idols. Okay, let's go to number 3. I only have 4, so don't worry. Now, first of all, if you can't afford project bags for every project you have, if you're like, you know, whip crazy, which I am, you know, we just moved into a new house, and so I buy sheets. And when I buy sheets, they come in these nifty little bags, and they zip shut. And let's face it, we really should protect our yarn. Like, my yarn does not sit out like this. It's in plastic bags, protecting itself from moths and from mold and from any bugs that just happen to get in. You know, like, we keep our houses as clean as possible, but, you know, a bug gets in here or there. So you don't want it in your yarn stash. So, these are my cakes. I'll take them out for my outline shawl. Now, the outline shawl is a free pattern on hedgehogfibers.com. And I'm pretty sure Beata wrote it herself. You know, she's the maven behind Hedgehog. And so I'm only knitting it with Hedgehog. She said it's for sock yarn. And I did go a little hog wild when I first became obsessed with Hedgehog fibers and bought a lot of sock yarn. And I'm more of a DK or a worsted weight knitter. I like, you know, to make things that are cozy. I've never made a lot of things that are, you know, a lot of people make those shawlettes they put around their neck, and I love scarves, so I'm sure that that'll be, you know, I'll be starting to do that soon. These bangs are driving me nuts. I'm really sorry. So let me show you the colorways first, and then I'll show you the tiny little bit I have done because, okay, so this, you probably can't even see it. The light is so bad. Oh no. Okay, well, it's that time of day. Anyway, let's see. Oh, there we go. This is called Damnation. It's like a chocolate brown with like little bits of like mocha striped through it. It's gorgeous. It is. It took me a long time to cake it for some reason. I got so tangled. So that's my first one, because this pattern calls for 5 colorways, and it tells you in the pattern, like, do 4 rows of this, do 8 rows of this, and this and that, and it will just make this like striped, but it's not a uniform stripe. It's really beautiful. Please go over to hedgehogfibers.com and take a look at it. She has a couple patterns. All her patterns are free, and they're for hedgehog. So if you're a hedgehogaholic, it's the place to be. This is called Swamp. I mean, like, look at it. It's incroyable. It's like all the French I know, so I'm not going to do anymore. That's Swamp. This is Pinky Swear. And I mean, you can't really see it because my quality of video is so bad, and I will work on that, I'm sorry. It's got so many speckles of different colors in it, and a lot of them are green. And so I think that that's going to go wonderfully, with the Swamp. And then we have, let's do this one. This one is called Bramble. It's like a beigey, like caramel with greens and browns, and incredible. And so that, goes, and this is the last one. And this is my all-time favorite hedgehog colorway. And it's, it's a lot more muted than a lot of the other ones, but this is my favorite. Teacup. I mean, the pinks. It's like this really, really gorgeous, I don't know how to say it. It's not like a beige. It's like an off-white, like an ivory. And it's got pink, like the pink. I mean the pink. That's all I gotta say. So, those are my colors for my outline shawl. And, with that being said, let me show you what I have done, which is pretty much nothing because the pattern, it's super simple, but you have to count. I mean, probably a more experienced knitter doesn't have to count the way I do, but you have to. And you don't want to get like, a million rows down into something and then realize there's a hole because you did a yarn over and you weren't supposed to, or you didn't fill it in, or, you just don't want that. So I am an obsessive counter. I'm obsessive. I use stitch markers anywhere I can. So this is all I have done so far. Okay? This isn't even a headband, okay? So, but you can see that it takes, it is taking this yarn so beautifully. And it really is, it's a gorgeous pattern. I can't do justice to it with this little, measly little whip right here. But it's a 30 stitch pattern repeat with a +5. So you actually can put stitch markers in it. And so I put stitch markers every 30 so that I can see, if I get to the end and I realize that I'm supposed to be knitting 8 and I only knit 7, I did something wrong. So I only have to tink back 30 stitches at the most. And for me, that's really important because if I have to tink, I watch some of these podcasters, they're like, I ripped it down to here. I'm like, I'm sure they know how to do it where you just unknit the row and then knit it back up. That would make me way too nervous. So, yeah, I'm not there yet. I think my mom did it. My mom is just so much more patient than I am. I'm someone who likes immediate satisfaction. Like, if, this took me a couple days of doing these rows to even see the pattern, and that was like giving me agita. So, and that lives in this. A lot of these are from Kate Spade sheets that I buy at Home Goods because I'm obsessed with Home Goods. I'm just obsessed with it. And so I go there all the time, and I'll go all different Home Goods, and I love Kate Spade. So it's, I'll literally buy anything that her name is on, but she doesn't even own the company anymore. Her and Rebecca Minkoff. In the summer, my style's more like, hippie, hate Ashbury. I like the big flowery dresses and stuff, and my hair up in a bun. In the winter, it's like bangs, straight hair, rock star. Those are just my style. So like Rebecca Minkoff bags, I must have like 10 or 12 of them. They have them at TJ Maxx, so it's not like I'm spending full price, but they're incredible. And you can switch all of the straps, and then if you have your kid strapped to you in one of those Ergo babies, like the Baby Bjorn-like things, I just unhook it and pull my purse off, you know? Little tidbit there. Okay, so that was my third whip. And this is my fourth whip, which might go into a fifth, but I don't have the fifth cast on yet. So is it a whip? No. It's an in my head whip. So I wanted to just make something with this beautiful, beautiful yarn that I got from the Lemonade shop. And I don't know if you've ever gone on Etsy and just looked at all the indie yarn dyers. I mean, it's like a kid in a candy shop for me, seriously. But when I was pregnant, I discovered the Lemonade shop because my mom had bought this colorway called Toxic Oreo. And I'll be showing you in a couple minutes. I have some mega stuffed Toxic Oreo. But it was beautiful, and it's squishy, squishalicious. So I went a little nuts, and that's really the first indie dyed brand that I had been buying, and that was around January, and I bought this. This is called Fire Pit. It's this dark, luscious gray, and it's got all of this speckly goodness, and it is the squishiest yarn. It is such a pleasure to work with. Such a pleasure. I mean, they have this cute little tag, the Lemonade shop, and she tells you everything on the back of it, which I really love because she tells you it's worsted, 218 yarns, 100% superwash merino. I mean, the only thing she doesn't tell you is what needle size to use. And so swatching is important, but I just do like 2 inches. Some people do these really big things. I just do 2 inches and then rip it out. But I mean, look at it. Oh. So, and she always sends these cute things like buttons or stickers. And let's face it, I mean, if you're going to spend this much on yarn, I want a button. I want a sticker. I love them. So, I caked it up. And I picked this pattern off my Ravelry. And I'm a really unprepared podcaster because I don't have it to show you. So I'll put it in the down bar if I can figure out how to do that. Otherwise, please follow my blog on GemmaDarling.wordpress.com. And we'll be doing some GemmaDarlingDaily things on there also. So please hop on over to that. I haven't really updated it in a while, so I should be doing that this week. And then check out the Etsy store again, GemmaDarling.etsy.com. And if you have any questions, really, just follow me on Instagram, GemmaDarlings with an S, and I'll gladly answer any of your questions. I'm pretty sure you know more about this than I do because I'm a beginner, but if you have any questions, reach out to me. So I found this pattern, let's see, and it's making this gorgeous, gorgeous texture, like a waffle almost. And it's so squishy, and it's beautiful. And so I'm having a really good time with this knit. It's not a free pattern. I think it was about $6. It was well worth it. I mean, $6, right? I mean, and it's become intuitive once you get the pattern started. So, you pretty much do a pass, and then on the other side, you just reverse it. So if you see like a knit stitch, you're doing a knit. So that on the other side, it's going to look like a purl. It's just, so it's really, it almost is just a 3x2 rib, but it's got every certain amount of stitches. There's a knit and purl row. They just break it up. And it's beautiful. I think I told you too much. I'm sorry. So again, follow me on Ravelry. It's on there as one of my whips, Gemma Darling. And follow me along. I think what I'm going to do is, though, I'm not going to do the whole scarf in this. Like, it called for a smaller needle than I decided to use because I was lazy and I had 8s. And these are just velocities. They're not even any really, really great needle. Like, I'm a Chiagoo fan. I love Chiagoo. But, and for the hedgehog, when I'm using the sock yarn, I had to use the Sharps, Addy Turbo. No, I'm sorry. Haya Sharps. I'm sorry. And they really are really sharp. And again, one of the things that's hard about the sock yarn is, it's 2-ply or 4-ply, I'm not sure. And sometimes I knit into it by mistake. So I think it's one of the reasons I'm doing that knit so much slower. But this is just, I started this a couple days ago, and I don't have that much time to knit. I mean, my daughter goes to sleep around 8 or 9, and I sit in bed next to her for about 3 hours, and I knit in the dark pretty much while I'm watching things on my iPad. And if you don't have an iPad Pro and you can get one with points on your credit card like I did, please do. It is the greatest thing in the world. I don't even use my television. I just watch stuff on there because it's big. It's huge. Anyway. All right, we're already 40 minutes in. God, I can talk. All right, so that is one of my works in progress. I think what I'm going to do is, though, maybe another pass of the pattern, which the pattern is 10 lines, and it's a 10-line repeat. And so I think then I'm going to switch over to like a dark charcoal or a black and just do a knit for most of the scarf. And then when I get to the end that's going to hang, I'm going to do another one of these on that side. Because if I give this to my husband or my brother-in-law or someone and it's as stretchy as it is, it's just going to get ruined. But I don't want to change the needle so that it looks different. And I don't really want to frog it. I don't like frogging things. So I'm going to change it to a smaller needle, maybe just a 7, just go down like 1, and then do just a whole knit purl back and forth. And I'll put this on the other end so that when they have it around their neck, it's just the pattern hangs like right in front. Because, you know, men, they don't really wrap it up like women do. But we'll see. That's why they call it a work in progress. So now, let me show you what this is living in. These are my Stephen and Penelope project bags. And I spend so much money on StephenandPenelope.com that they send me these. I don't know if they send them to every customer. I hope they do because they're wonderful. They're just these tiny little, I don't know if they're linen or burlap or whatever they are. They're just these little project bags. And if you don't know, Stephen and Penelope is Stephen West's store in Amsterdam. And Stephen West is, of course, that wonderfully eccentric, incredible knitter. You know, West knits are the best knits, and I need to start one of his patterns, and I'm scared because they're so involved. And again, if I didn't have my daughter and I could really just sit there and knit, I would, but I love her and I love to play with her, and I don't want her to have some mommy who's sitting there knitting and not paying attention to her. So you only get a certain amount of time where they're this little and squishy. So, you know, I knit when she's sleeping, and I think that's the way to go. But again, you know, StephenandPenelope.com, go on it. I ordered a lot of hedgehog from him. I'm trying to remember which ones I got from him. I don't know, but he has a lot of, I think I got this one from him. He has a lot of potlucks, which are hedgehog fiber colorways that they're just not named. She dyes them up and that's it. You grab it and that's it. And, I mean, some of them are just super gorgeous. I think this is one of them. Is this one? No, that's small. That's, where is it? Oh, it's here. Of course, it's on the bottom. Oh, my hand's being swallowed by it. Okay, so this is a potluck that I got from him. I mean, look at that. They're incredible. There's just no two ways about it. I'll put you back there. What's this one? Is this a potluck? Where did I get this one from? I might have gotten this one from him too. Look at that one. Look at the orange. I know you're all into pumpkin right now. I'm really sorry. I don't like pumpkin. You know, you're not going to hear me talking about how I couldn't hold back from going to Dunkin' Donuts because it's pumpkin spice latte time. Like, I don't like the flavor of it. With that being said, really like apple pie and apple crisp and all the warm things that come with fall. But, I mean, you know what comes with fall? You know what really comes with fall? Thicker yarn. Oh, Merino DK poison. Oh. Oh, look at this one. My mom is making a shawl out of this. She got like a bunch of this. Look at this. It's not even justifying the color of it. It's not even. It is this gorgeous dark turquoise. It's called Wish. Hedgehog Merino DK. I want to, excuse me, I have the hiccups. I want to sleep in it. I just want to sleep in it. So, oh my God. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm just like fangirling right now. Seriously, Beata, if there's any chance you've ever tuned in for this, first of all, I hope I'm saying your name right. I think I am. Second of all, Monet. Oh, look at the light on it. Look at it. Oh my God. I can't wait. And the Monet and the Wish together. Oh, shit. So my mom is making a shawl out of the Wish and the Monet, and she added some pollen to it. I mean, the pollen with the Wish and, like, can you, I mean, incredible. Because there's so much of this rust color in the Monet. And Monet is a joke between my mom and I, because when I was little, you know, like any mom, she would try to make my bedrooms into these beautiful little masterpieces. And so when I was really little, it was red. I think it was Holly Hobby. And then, no, it might not have been, but it had a lot of red, which I think is why my daughter's nursery is red. And can we just talk about how they don't make anything for little girls in red? Everything is pink and purple. No, I don't like that. Now, I like pink and purple, but my daughter should have the right to choose. I mean, does she have to be a princess? No, she should be a doctor. And all of the boy costumes are doctors, and the girl costumes are nurses. And I'm sorry, as much as I respect nurses because I think they're incredible, no, they should all be unisex, because everyone should be able to be what they want. I mean, little girls have kitchen toys and little boys have lawnmower toys. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Anyway, that was my little 2 cents. Back to the hedgehog. So, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, so my daughter's room is red. And then, so, when I was little, my mom would change the room. You know, every time sometimes you just need new carpet. I mean, you're a kid, right? So, one time she did ballerinas when I was on toe shoes. She did my room ballerinas. There was Degas everywhere. And, you know, to this day, I really love Degas. I didn't like it then, though, because I'm a little girl. I mean, who knew what oil paintings were when you're like 7? But she exposed me to these things, and I'm really, really excited about it because, you know, a couple years ago, my family was able to go to Paris together. You know, she was excited to show me all of these things for real. And, you know, knowing that I had been exposed to them as a child, I think was incredible. That my parents were, they love art and reading things and learning about the world. And I think that they passed that on to my sister and I hope I can pass that on to Francesca. I hope that my mom passes it on to her because my mom's incredible. Yeah, and I use that word a lot. That is the word of the episode, incredible. So then after after Degas, she went to Monet. And so I had Monet's Garden was my bedroom. She found a bedspread that was, you know, I don't remember the name of the painting. It's the water lilies with the bridge. And so my grandmother made curtains and my mom had the bedspread. And so we always laugh because I did not like it. I think I was transitioning into middle school, and when I got into middle school, it was like grunge. It was like, you know, Kurt Cobain and Pearl Jam, and I've always loved music. So, you know, when you get to be that age, you start to really buy your own music. You're starting to consume your favorite parts of the pop culture that's provided to you. And grunge was coming in, and I did not want my room to be Monet's Garden. So that is our joke now, because they took us to Paris to see, we saw all the water lilies, and my mom was just laughing because there's a whole museum that's just Monet, and she's like, do you even want to go there? And I was like, yes, we can go there. I mean, I think she went with my dad a couple of years ago, and they went on one of those Viking boat cruises, the river cruises, which are incredible. I would love to do that too. And so she got to go to Giverny and see the inspiration for all of Monet. And I you know, even though I didn't want my bedroom to be that when I was little, I'd love to see these things. I mean, the amazing amazing things people create with their two hands and their mind. You know, if I can just do a little bit of that with my knitting, you know, I'd be happy. But these people, standing in front of the Mona Lisa, you know, standing in front of these incredible paintings, these incredible sculptures, you know, in Rome, if you've ever gone to the Borghese Gardens, you know, and seen the Paolina Borghese, I mean, seen the David. My parents took us on a big trip, my sister and I, along, I don't know, it was 08, 07, 08, and it was funny because when we would go into these museums, you know, my parents would be looking at us. They would be, because they've seen it. They were teachers and they were able to go places, on, you know, in the summer before they had us. And so they traveled a lot. And my mom would turn around and look at my sister and I as we were seeing the David for the first time. And she's like, oh, look at it, look at it, look at it. Isn't it incredible? And she would just tell us all about it. And, you know, it was really a special, special trip because seeing all the things, like they had statues in our house. We have busts of Don Quixote. We have so much in our house, you know, to really celebrate art and literature. And so, again, this is a joke between my mom and I. So when we were at Do You Knit, it was like a week or two ago, and I picked up the Monet, and I said, here. I said, you need to make something with this because you made me live in it, so you need to live with this project. You need to make something for Monet, and I don't care if you make it for Francesca, but don't make it for me. So she's making this gorgeous, gorgeous shawl. I have to find out what it is and tell you because, I mean, this, with all the wish, I mean, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be incredible. Oh, okay. All right, so we're done talking about this, but this helps me segue into my next segment because, I don't know, I just buy yarn. I love buying yarn. I'm not going to show you my stash probably until next week. I mean, we're kind of doing my hedgehog stash, but we'll do my other India dyer stash, like my primrose. I've got a lot of lamb strings. I've got Yarn Company. Oh, I mean, look at this mini of macaroon. Can we just talk about it? I know it's totally blowing out right now, but seriously, like, oh, I can't wait. Okay. So, when I was pregnant, for some reason, I didn't care about yarn weight. If I liked the yarn, I bought it. Didn't think about it. I figured I could go on Ravelry and I could find a pattern that goes with it. So I bought like 5, I think I bought 5 of these. This is Mega Stuffed Toxic Oreo from the Lemonade Shop. And I mean, when you see it, you're going to want it. Please, lemonadeshop.etsy.com. Is it blowing out? Can you see this? Oh, I'm sorry. It's the time of day. Can you see it? Can you see it? It is white and black and every other color. I mean, it is, I love it. I bought 5 skeins of it. And it's, you know, I think, where is it? I don't think there's that much on each skein. It's probably, how much are these skeins? There it is. Okay. Look at that. Mega Toxic Oreo. It's 82 yards. It's an 80-20 superwash merino and nylon mix. It's not itchy at all. It's so nice. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it. At first I wanted to make one of those huge cowls to wear in the winter, but then I thought, I don't really know. My winter coat is black and I just didn't think it would, you know, look nice like that. I think that when you're going to knit with something this speckled, you really have to figure out if the pattern helps it in its gorgeousness or if it takes away. And so I didn't think any of those patterns were really helping it. So I just decided to start buying this is super bulky. I decided to start buying this super bulky. Anytime I liked a colorway, just buy it. you know? Don't buy enough for a project. I mean, look how thick it is. It's so thick. Can you see it? So thick. And it's only 82 yards of skein. Like, you can think about how bulky that is. So, of course, I fell in love with that. I have 5 yards of that. And then nomadic yarns. Can we just talk about this for a second? Look at this. Okay, nomadic yarns. Look at this. It's like dark grays with this, like, it looks like raspberry syrup. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous pinks. I don't even know. I think I ordered 4. 4! So there we go. That's 9, right? Okay, and then I have a lot more coming. I think I ordered from Spun Right Round. I'm not sure. But this is Stitch Together Studio, which I love. Stitch Together Studio. Again, on Etsy. This is called Crazy Cat Lady, and I have 1 cat, so I'm not a crazy cat lady. We lost our little Kylie girl right before I gave birth, so we had 2 cats. And we have, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Crazy Cat Lady. Let's see. Does this stop bleeding? Nope, that's worse. Nope, that's worse. Okay, we'll go back to where we were. I mean, I don't really think you can see it at this point. The sun is just coming in at such a weird angle. I'm really sorry. But if I hold it back here, can you see it? Okay. Oh. It's like orange sherbet with specks of orange and pink. Oh, and a little bit of, like, look at that. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Like amber. And this one's on their Stitched Fatty base. See, Stitched Fatty and Big Fatty. It's interchangeable, I guess. I don't know. But it's the same. This is 76 yards of an 80-20 super wash merino and nylon. There are 3 to 4 stitches per inch. And this is for a 13 to 15 needle. So, I mean, this is no joke yarn. But if you want to make something and it's more than just a cowl, then you're going to need a lot of it. And so what I've been doing is, if I like the colorway, I buy it. And I've decided to take this pattern and make it into a blanket. Because a lot of people are doing those cozy memory blankets. I think that's Mina Phillip. And as much as I like the way that the final product looks, I mean, they're adorable. It's not something I'm interested in knitting, and I don't knit enough to have scraps. I mean, I have, my share of minis. I love minis, but I don't know that I want to use them for a square and a blanket. Because, I want them to be in a project where it highlights them. And so that's just me. So, a lot of these podcasters, they knit a lot faster than I do, and they have a lot of scraps. And they've been knitting a lot longer than I have. So I feel like for them it made sense, but for me it doesn't really make sense right now. So I'm going to take this pattern and I'm going to make a big, big cozy blanket. Just randomly, whenever I find a skein that I like, I am going to just knit it right into it. And I'm going to work on it for a while, and it's going to be probably the craziest bunch of colors you've ever seen, but I think that's what I'm going to do with it. So I'll start that, and maybe next week you can check in with me. Again, go on my Ravelry page, friend me, email me through there. But you can find, this is one of my whips, you'll find the scarf, and I'll be starting the blanket in the next day or two, again, while my daughter naps, and so follow along with me. And, I don't think that you have to use scraps to make a blanket. So if you just find yarns that, I didn't know what to do with this. And when you look on Ravelry and you put in this type of yarn, it doesn't give you that many options for projects because, a lot of people use sock yarn. They use the skinny singles, or they use, DK or worsted. I have never made a pair of socks, so that's why I'm knitting the outline. And I don't know what to do with this. So I think I'm just going to knit it into a blanket. And maybe like I have 4 of these. So maybe every 5th skein I'll put another one of these in. And I mean, crazy cat lady, I want it on me. I want to sleep under it. People buy yarn. We're always putting it up to our face. We want to sleep with it. We want to make blankets. Make a blanket. So I'm just going to use that pattern and make a blanket. So I think that's all for today. You know, that's my gold hedgehog fibers bag just to share. I'm looking around. I have one more thing for you. I know that today I'm brand new. You don't know me. You probably didn't learn anything from this podcast like maybe you would if you were watching someone who was more seasoned. I hope you like, you know, sharing stories with me and hearing about my adventures, and I'd love to hear about yours. But I think that, you know, it's time for me to share some of the wealth. So I have 2 skeins. One is from Blissful Knits. It's this beautiful, beautiful skein it's called Art Yarn. It's a classic sock weight yarn. It's 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon. And I'm giving it away. I'm giving this away or this. So this is that potluck I was talking about that I got from Stephen and Penelope. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. There are a lot of retailers online that sell hedgehog fibers, and you just kind of have to catch them if you want a certain color because they fly. And once in a while, Beata does an update herself, which you put it in your cart, you check out. You put it in your cart and you check out because you do not want to get your cart checked. So I think last time I checked out 4 times and I had to write them and say, could you please send them all together? So, and they do automatically, so don't even worry about it. But I think I got this one from Stephen and Penelope. And this is the one with the purples and the pinks. And I had 2 of them. So I just thought, you know, let me share the wealth. So, I'm going to give one of these away. You get to choose. Let's see, how should we give it away? Okay. Comment on this podcast and let me know how you started knitting. I'd really like to know how you started knitting. So if you let me know how you started knitting in the comments of this podcast, I will choose at random. I'll put all your names into a big thing and I'll pull it out and I'll give one of these to you. And you can choose either, as I said, the Blissful Knits sock yarn or the Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn. And whichever one you don't choose, we'll give away next week. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you liked, you know, spending an hour with me. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and again, I have a 5-month-old. Maybe you'll meet her next week. Maybe you'll meet, oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. So we had 2 cats. One passed away, unfortunately. We have one left who's wonderful, little Maggie. And we also have a Doxy named Danny. And since I'm named Danny, I don't know if I told you that. Did I tell you my name's Danielle? Oh, well. But everyone calls me Danny, and so we inherited these animals from my mother-in-law, who unfortunately lost her battle with breast cancer, and it's awful. We need to fight these diseases. It's just unfathomable that these affect people out of the blue. So we really do need to fight them. And when she passed away, my husband and I had actually just gotten engaged. We didn't even get to tell her, which was really sad. And so when we were settling her estate, and I could see, you know, how upsetting it was for him, we took the cats and we took the dog. And this dog is a person. He has my heart. And he's just this tiny little dachshund. I don't know how to say it, so I say Doxy. And I take him everywhere. We never leave him home alone because he cries. I mean, everyone who meets him loves him. Please hop over to my Instagram. You'll see pictures of him, as many pictures of him as you see of my baby. But his name was Danny. She named him Danny, and she got him right before my husband and I started dating. So when we met, I met her on FaceChat, and she said, Danny, meet Danny. So when I became Danny's mommy, I started calling him Pooper. I don't know why. So he's my little Pooper. I call him Pooper. I call him a lot of things, whatever comes to mind. I mean, he's a person. He has the best personality. He sleeps in bed with us. He curls up with us. He's wonderful. And so please, again, hop over to my Instagram, GemmaDarlings with an S, and take a look, you know. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you enter the giveaway and win one of the sock yarns. And I'll see you next week. And again, in the comments, if there's something you'd like to see on this podcast, please let me know. I'm all for ideas. Okay? Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.